Working with shared VMs in VMware Workstation 8. Hey, this is Greg Shields with CBT Nuggets, and you've probably been working with VMware Workstation for a while. And then version 8 comes out, and you see this new little node down here in the library called Shared VMs. Wonder what that is. Well, VMware Workstation 8 actually takes from some of the original concepts that we thought of in the old VMware server and bakes them right into the Workstation interface. In fact, this shared VMs allows me to connect up to other virtual machines that may exist on, for example, an ESX host or even another instance of VMware Workstation. You see here I have a couple of different VMs that I'm looking at here. One is this vc.company.pri. Well, when I create a regular virtual machine, it's not actually shared out to the other people on my network. In order to share out that virtual machine, what I need to do is power it off and then click and drag it over into the shared VM's location. Doing so opens up the shared virtual machine wizard, and if I choose next, it gives me the ability to change the name and then to either move the virtual machine or to make a full clone of the virtual machine at this new path. Doing so is actually going to move this virtual machine into this new location here under Users, Public, Documents, and so on and so forth. If I choose the Finish button, well then this virtual machine would actually create over in this new location. I can, if I want, just create new virtual machines in the shared VMs location by clicking the Create New Virtual Machine link. And that just does everything like you're used to doing with creating a new virtual machine, except it's set up as a shared VM instead of as a personal VM connected up to your computer. For those VMs that may exist here, you can also manage their AutoStart in the case where you actually launch VMware Workstation at some point into the future. So if you want to make sure some VMs actually power on in the right order, you can do so, even adding delays between each virtual machine's power on cycle. So this actually configures your computer to connect up to someone else's VMware Workstation to work with their virtual machines. But how do I actually connect up to someone else's instead of actually sharing out my own? If I want, I can go up here under File, and I can choose the Connect to Server link that's available here. And if I choose a server name, 192.168.0.250, for example, and I give it the right username and password, well, that will connect me up to another instance of VMware Workstation, which is, in this case, if I have the right permissions to do so. It asks me if I want to remember the logon information, and then now I have access to create new virtual machines on this remote computer. Now, what's interesting about this is that I can also set up roles and permissions either on my computer or on the remote computer for who will have access to accomplish certain activities. There are a number of roles that are set up out of the box: no access, read-only, administrator, VM creator. And then for each one, I can then identify which actions, similar to what you're used to seeing in ESX and also in vSphere, for what that role should be able to accomplish. Also down here under permissions, I can then take the roles and assign them to users and groups. So what this does is it gives you the ability to really expand out your VMware Workstation instances in those cases where maybe one computer isn't nearly enough for the resources you need to set up some demo environment. If you want to learn more about configuring VMware Workstation 8 and also configuring ESX, check out my CBT Nuggets series at cbtnuggets.com. But until then, I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.